Hey, what's going on, everybody? Walter Brandsma here from New Meta Entertainment, coming to bring you guys episode 2 of The Meta. Joining me for this episode is going to be my buddies Pat, Dubby, and DJ, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves very quickly.
I guess I'll go first. Okay. I don't know. My name's Patrick Rowe. I've been playing Smash competitively for probably a year and 2 months now, which isn't very long, but I've been really deep into it. I've gotten really into it. It's definitely something that I'm passionate about. But I have been playing since 64, so but yeah, I'm involved in the South Carolina community and a little bit back where I'm from, Maryland, Virginia. I like to go to tournaments every so often, even though I get my ass handed to me. Okay.
Next on the list.
I'm W. Wiseman. I'm a people person. I like long walks on the beach. I go to Clemson University in South Carolina, and I love Smash with all my heart. It's a wonderful game, and passing it on to DJ.
Everybody already knows me if they saw the first episode, so...
But what about our nice viewers who haven't seen the first
All right,
episode?
so the viewers who haven't seen me before, I'm DJ, and I'm a goddamn Pikachu main in PM, so that's how my life's going.
All right, and this is going to be our discussion group for this evening. Unfortunately, Cody Cameron was not able to join us. He had a few issues going on with his family that he needed to take care of, so we're going to just do it without him for now, and then he'll be back for the next one, hopefully. And then in terms of other people we want to be talking with, we're going to be having a guest call-in from Evan Tripp, the TO for Olympus, but we'll get to that in the future. Let's just start this one off with PSAs. First things first, for those of you in the South Carolina Smash community, Sunday Smash Off happening this Sunday, what is that, January 25th, at Ready to Play Trading Cards in Casey. It's like 5 minutes away from those of you on the USC campus, if you guys are interested. It's going to be featuring Melee and Smash 4. Pretty good stuff. I'm excited. The first one went pretty well, and not a lot of people heard about it, so now this one is going to be a lot more, I guess, turned up with just the amount of talent going on there. Good stuff there. Second announcement, Apex 2015, again, happening next weekend, January 30th to February 1st. Important announcement, that if in case you guys haven't heard by now, but Alex Strife has stepped down from the Apex 2015 as being the leader there. Just wanted to mention that for those of you who didn't know. If you want to look into that more, you can, but we're going to leave that discussion to the people who are more directly affected by what happened there. And then lastly, involving Apex for public service announcements. For those of you in the USC, Columbia, West Columbia area, I'm looking to rent a room in Capstone House for a viewing party for Apex. So just be on the lookout if you guys are involved with SC Melee Facebook page. Just be on the lookout for any posts from me there. And hopefully we can get something good happening for that weekend. So that's going to be it for public service announcements. We can go straight into Extinction 3 recap, and W, I believe you have the challenge information for that.
Yep. I'll just start off with Smash 4 because that was the first tournament of the day. Fatality showed up from Georgia with his crew, so we were all excited to see him again, although, of course, every time he shows up, we seem to get swept by him. He took all 3 tournaments.
Wow.
Smash 4 singles, Extinction 3 Project M doubles with P-Dude, who's Cody Cameron, and he also took PM singles. I saw him play a few times, not all the time, in Smash 4, and he's a Falcon purist. He plays Falcon in every single game, and he still wrecks everybody with Falcon in every single game. It was just incredible to watch him. He can get knee reads in Smash 4, which I personally think is incredible. I didn't know it could be done.
Yeah, I caught part of the stream. I saw him do a stomp and then just wait for an eternity air dodge knee, and I was just like, wow. I never thought I'd see a melee combo happen in this game.
I know. It's like the melee combos, but you have to wait for just a second because you have to bait the air dodges in this game rather than having to just rely on your combo skill.
Okay.
He took first. Neos took second. I believe, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe. Wait, no, that's a different guy. Oh, well, Neos and Scat took second and third, respectively, in Smash 4 singles. I'm not entirely sure who they are. One of them is a Mega Man player from Georgia who's supposedly very good. Fenrir played against him, and that was a cool Ditto to watch. A little bit slow, but it was a fun Ditto to watch.
Gotcha.
I didn't watch much of the Project M doubles tournament because it was kind of quick. There weren't too many teams that signed up. But Fatality and P-Dude took first. South Carolina's LeFou and Pikmin took second. And Like an Egg and Blitz from Charleston took third.
Cool.
And then on to Project M singles, which was really cool to watch. Fatality again took the tournament. And Nyx, who I have heard of him, but I haven't heard that much of him, took second.
Mm-hmm.
And have any of you guys heard of Nyx before?
I heard of the name after you guys brought it up. So it was like,
yeah.
it was very interesting to hear because I never really heard of him that much. But then someone posted, actually in our Facebook group about this, about how Nyx took it over LeFou, Pikmin, all names that in the past episode we projected to be easily top 3. So it was really, really nice, I guess, to see that breath of fresh air, someone else kind of sweep in, make that happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. He actually put Fatality into losers bracket, and then put LeFou into losers bracket in winners finals, and then Fatality came back with resetting the bracket, and then took the W for Project M singles.
Cool. Also, important
sorry.
announcement for Fatality that DJ actually brought up to me before the show is Pat actually brought it up to me, was Fatality recently took a set off of Lucky in PM singles at Paragon, was it?
Yes.
So very good stuff to Fatality.
As long as this is the right Lucky, which I'm pretty sure there's only one.
So again, shout outs to Fatality, amazing Georgia player, and very glad to have him in the South Carolina scene for what's going on here. He's making great strides. Mm-hmm. Really good stuff from Extinction. I think that was good. I know the tournament went really well. I talked to Cody about it. He seemed like he had a great time there. And I'm excited to see what else Extinction has to hold in the future. From there, I guess we can move on to Olympus projections. And this is going to be something special. We're going to actually be trying to call in Mr. Evan Tripp, one of the 2 TOs, including Matthew Sharp, who could not join us on this episode tonight. So we're going to have Evan come in and speak to us a little bit about the tournament. So I'm just going to add him to this group call real quick. Hopefully he answers. If not, then I think we can talk about it briefly. But
Now, he does know that we're calling him, right?
I told him we're calling him. Oh, it looks like he's got it.
Evan?
Hey, how's it going?
What's
how's it
going on,
going, guys?
Evan?
Nothing much, man. Just watching you guys.
All right.
I'm so
I
sorry.
guess you can't get video with since you're on mobile right now, but
Let me see. I think I should be able to. Hold on one second.
okay.
Wait, it's not that big of an
Yeah.
issue now, is it?
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, I can't.
It's all good. Okay, so we just want to call you in real quick. You had a few announcements for your upcoming tournament in February, actually, so let's hear them.
Yes, Olympus. It's February 28th at the Clemson Arts Center here in Clemson, South Carolina. So far, we have 5 events: melee doubles, melee singles, PM doubles, PM singles, and Smash 4 singles. It has a $100 pot bonus for that.
Okay.
And we also Matt worked his magic, and we actually got an email from Red Bull, and they're actually going to be coming out and giving out some stuff, and actually probably help us out a little bit
Damn.
further with that.
That's
so
awesome.
That was really exciting this week. So far, and we also might have Red and Milkman come in from
Really?
up north.
Cool. Join him with Star-Lord for the Virginia crew then?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be great, actually, if we can start
Yeah.
collaborating with some other people like that.
Yeah, that was really exciting. Matt hooked up with him up there. Also talked to Fatality. I think he's coming out.
Great.
Of course, LeFou and Pikmin from South Carolina. And I think Matt said I think Fitter's coming in as well, which should be exciting. Extinction 3 was the first time I saw him in a while
Man.
since Tiger Smash.
Yeah, wow, that's actually incredible. That's a lot more heavy hitters than I anticipated, I think, for
Yeah, I think
especially
it's
for
going
our
to be.
scene.
Yeah, and I think possibly I'm not sure. I think Esam was planning on coming before. I'm not sure after his announcement at Apex.
Right.
That might be his last tournament, but hopefully we'll see him out. I mean, we'll see about that.
Well, he said he said he was going to go out, but I think he'll still come out to like locals and stuff since he's up here in Clemson, at least for the next semester. I
Right.
think. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not going to pass up money like that.
Yeah, exactly. Got a $100 pot bonus for Smash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely. I think in terms of just like scale of this tournament in South Carolina, this is probably far and away one of the biggest tournaments we've had here in probably since I started entering the South Carolina scene, which was several years ago. And to me, that's really cool, and I'm really excited to be working with you guys for this next tournament.
I do. We're excited to have you, man. I mean, it's been huge. I mean, we were expecting like well over 100 people, which was kind of like when I first I first got I started getting back in the scene probably back in like around April for the first Extinction tournament, and then saw Smash Carolina 4 and 74 people, and it's just crazy, like the last couple of months it's just growing into where a norm to have 100 people or plus at a tournament, which is
Right,
crazy.
yeah.
Especially in South Carolina.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you already said, potentially Milkman and Red coming out to this, which would be absolutely huge. So I guess that sort of sways the scales a little bit in terms of who we can expect our top 16 to be for this tournament in whatever game. Because I can't anticipate that Milkman and Red will be probably 1-2 for that. Star-Lord, of course, being easily top 3 out of the 3 of those people. And then, of course, Butch, LeFou, Pikmin, etc., etc. There's a lot of heavy hitters coming to this tournament.
Yeah, and possibly I know Soft came out for Tiger Smash back in August.
Yeah,
and,
I remember that.
I know he talked about maybe coming out, but I think he's trying to decide between that and Scenic Smash.
Cool.
And I wish I had better prepared. I just got the trophies in today. We got 3 crystal trophies for first place in all the singles events, and I got 10 medals. So we'll have a medal for second, third place in each single event, and then the doubles. There's first place medals for that.
Great. Yeah, you actually showed me the picture of that earlier today. I'm unable to show it on the stream currently, but they look great. Is all I can really say. They look really good.
I was blown away when I was expecting them to look great just from mock-ups, but I mean I opened the box and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is real.
Be like, I might want to keep these actually. Like,
Yeah. Keep this one for myself. You guys got medals, man. You're good.
Quick question from the chat. Actually, Aurelius asks, how many are pre-registered so far? Do you have a number?
We have a little over 70 pre-registered last time I checked, which was pretty great for 5 weeks out. We currently have I think about 110 or so RSVP'd. I really can't go off that, but we're expecting like 100 plus, so pretty crazy. But we do. I will be posting pictures of the venue I'm going to visit tomorrow and kind of just get logistics, like how much extension cables and tables, everything we need. There is a stage. It's pretty big. I've helped out with concert events there before, so it's a pretty big space. I'm really excited. I think it's have ample room to move around and stuff. So.
Great. That sounds awesome.
That's really cool, Evan.
Of course, Olympus coming in February 28th, I want to say.
Yes, sir.
Correct? February 28th. Sounds good. It will actually be streamed by this channel, so stay tuned for this, and hopefully you guys enjoy what you see from there, because I'm very excited for some of the matches that we're going to get going for this. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of just stuff to look out for the tournament is just the sheer number and skill threshold of the players we have going on. It's honestly unreal what you just told me.
Yeah, dude, it's been exciting, man. Every week, man. I'm especially partnering with Matt, man. I don't know. It's crazy, man. I mean, like I've been doing online tournaments for mostly Halo in the past, but we've been getting into Smash the last 6 months to a year, and it's just been crazy, like what happens. So I'm really excited.
Definitely. All right, Evan. Well, thank you very much for all the updates here, and we're all looking forward to attending your tournament soon next month.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
See ya.
All right. Really good announcements from Evan, I think. I'm really excited for this now, and I'm kind of upset that I'm not entering. But
Really?
I'm probably going to be running the stream full time. Development with that is actually for another time, but my the other half of New Meta Entertainment, who is actually currently in Philadelphia, is considering coming down to visit so he can run the stream with me. And that would allow me to enter, actually. So we're going to try to iron that out, see if we can get anything going with that. But for the most part, as of right now, I'm maybe just be entering doubles for Kevin, and that's going to be it. but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sad I'm not going. Just like hearing that all those good smashers are going. It's just like it's worth it in that sense. Not even like showing up and winning or anything, just being there at the event.
Definitely, yeah.
Especially for South Carolina.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be really good. And again, I mean, just for the shameless self plug, I will be streaming this event, so obviously it's going to be amazing. But but I'm really looking forward to working with them, hopefully for a long time in the future. I think there's really no need to go into potential matchups and upsets alerts because I'm very excited for basically any match that's going to happen at that tournament. In terms of upsets, I mean, if someone in out of that list that Evan just told us loses to someone else, I think that would be a big upset for me because that list that he provided me of maybe like 10 or so players is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, we'll move on to the next section, and that would be EVO 2015. Really amazing stuff. For those of you who don't know by now, EVO 2015 announced their lineup. I'm just gonna read off the 8 games, or eight or 9 was it? I don't know. I think it was 8. But a lot of just traditional fighters: Ultra Street Fighter 4, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear actually taking it over BlazBlue, which surprised me, but that's for another time. And then important ones. The important ones to keep in mind are Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and ... Super Smash Bros. Melee. So absolutely amazing. Rejoice in that Melee is somehow coming back to EVO for what is this, 3rd year in a row now? Phenomenal stuff. It's great. It makes the scene feel amazing. Like we're all getting it back. We made it. It's that we made it feeling, and that's awesome. And
we're all waiting for that Mango 3-peat.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about the lineup so far for EVO 2015?
Pat, I know you had something to say before this.
Well, I mean, as a lineup as a whole, first of all, I've always been a Mortal Kombat fan, so there's some bias in that. I'm really excited for that. As for the other games, truth be told, I haven't really played them outside of Smash. They all always, as games do, look more and more beautiful as the years go by, whatever. As for the lineup for Smash, this will be the first time in EVO history that 2 games under the same category, i.e. Smash, will be at EVO. And I think it's one thing that I noticed, because I was there when Mr. Wizard announced Melee, like I was watching it, and he said he personally just like loves Melee. Like you could just tell that he was biased towards that. He just wanted it in it, which is great. And I think another thing is I looked in the chat when he said that, and of course there's all this celebration, whatever, but every so often there's like a comment like boo and crap like that. Because, and I see it in the sense that, you know, Melee is an old game, and having it 3 times in a row is a big thing. But I think it's also important because I think what's going to happen is, first of all, we're going to get more attention in general, it being at EVO again. But I think on top of this, people are going to start like wondering, people who don't play Melee, what makes it so special? Like, why does it get to have 3 years in a row? And I think people are going to start being like, should I explore it? Should I play it? Like, what draws people into it? Why is it so amazing? And I think that's really important. And having it at EVO 3 years in a row as this 14-year-old game is
edging on 15 now.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like unheard of.
Yeah, I think exactly what you said, honestly. This can do nothing but good for the Smash scene as a whole. Not necessarily just Melee, but for anybody interested in any installation of the Smash series. I think it's amazing to do something like that and have the opportunity to present a 14-year-old game where even like the first time it was presented at EVO, people were like, where are we going to get CRTs from? How are we gonna compensate for this? And that to me, it puts a smile on my face, and it's interesting to see that a game that's as old as that can just manage to kind of come from underneath and surprise everyone as something that's nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, and a 14-year-old game that hasn't been updated in all that time either. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that as in the mechanics haven't been updated and people still like the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because like these most games in the FGC get patches and stuff. I don't know how often because I'm not really part of the FGC besides Smash, but they get these constant updates to balance characters and work out things and make sure that people aren't too OP. I mean, granted, Smash has definitely found the characters that are in the top 10, and it's been that way for a long time. But like you said, it is really cool that they've been able to. I'm flustered. That people are so excited about a game that hasn't gotten updates but is still coming back each and every year. Like that cat you can't get rid of.
Just something funny. I think it was Wobbles, maybe, I'm not sure, but I know a high level smasher, he made the joke of somebody was saying like, oh, Melee's gonna die eventually, and he said, honestly, I'm not so much worried about people not playing Melee. Like, we're more likely to have CRTs go extinct before people stop playing Melee.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and I thought that was kind of funny.
And even
'cause-
then, there's the whole new BenQ plus whatever. And I'll tell you personally, I'm running off of BenQ right now, and it plays perfectly when I play any
Good.
sort of CRT game. So it
important.
exists. It's an expensive alternative, but it exists. So if Melee wants to stick around, it can. And I think going off of what's happening with EVO, Melee, Smash 4, those, especially you even mentioned before the show started, this is the first game that has been presented at EVO that are two separate installations of a game that are in the same tournament
Yeah.
of a grand scale as EVO. And that's huge, I think. But the thing to me that's really cool is I really truly believe Melee and perhaps Smash 4 have the possibility to be second place entrants, first place number of entrants, because of just the sheer support it's gotten over the years. You're going to get blown away by the amount of people that enter this contest. So, all right.
Personally, I'm excited for Guilty Gear. I'm not gonna lie.
I am too. I loved Guilty Gear when I was younger. But
I'm the anime fighter player in this group, I think. So since I play BlazBlue and
oh yeah,
You play
KOF.
P4U?
all about that.
no, I play KOF and BlazBlue.
Okay.
And Lethal League, but that's beside the
Well,
point.
that's not an anime.
Too funny. And I think in terms of Smash 4 presenting itself at EVO, we will be talking about them in the next topic. So we'll just go into it right now. A bit of a reservation, I guess, in myself personally, but it's been shared amongst other people as well, and we're going to get into it. But Smash 4 was announced at EVO, and I think that's great. Smash 4 has been played in a lot of other big, large-scale tournaments. Paragon, you see it. Is it gonna be at Apex? I'm not sure.
It is. It
Yes.
Definitely
Okay,
is.
so Apex.
like an
you
alarm
have
center.
you have it at regionals, nationals, even at your locals. It's gonna be there because it's the new game. Nintendo's obviously going to be pushing their product.
Even across the pond, they have it at Beast 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good that Nintendo's pushing their product in the direction of the competitive scene, at least slightly, because it's going to get that more attention there. Issue that a lot of people have been seeing, what does Smash 4's future entail? Because you look at games like Melee, it's lasted for, we said, going on 15 years now. But you look at Brawl, what was the life expectancy on that game? Especially for when it was a booming competitive game. How long did that really, really last? And honestly, I mean, in my own opinion, I have reservations on how long it can last as a competitive title.
Well, I mean, I mean, to compare it, why don't we try to figure out what exactly has made Melee last so long and see if does Smash 4 possess any of those qualities?
Okay.
I mean, Melee, it's fun, fast, and exciting. Like, and even people who are very new to it will have fun playing it. I mean, they won't win, obviously. Like, first tournament you go to, you're not going to win, and
Yeah.
that's how it is for any game. Like, that's just how it works. But the thing about Melee, the reason that I feel like it had a better time than say like Brawl did, it's a lot more entertaining to watch.
Okay.
That's true.
It's a lot more entertaining to watch, and because people watch it and they say, hey, that looks really cool, I want to be able to do that, and then they go and try and play it, as opposed to say Brawl, where it was I personally felt Brawl, I loved Brawl, like that was my game before I even met like Wald, when I really got into the competitive Smash scene. Brawl was my game, and I was a bloody Falco man, chain grabbing and everything, but and for me that was awesome. Like watching Brawl players like at like Apex 2010, that was cool for me.
Yeah.
But I know that wasn't the same case for everyone else, obviously, because Brawl's dead now. but it's just like Brawl for everyone else was not entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Definitely.
that's exactly it. Melee can gain people just by watching it. Like in the audience at Evo, let's just say there's some random people out there who have never played
Oh,
Melee
yeah.
competitively, and they can still go, "Ow, ow," when cool things happen. But then when you're sitting there with Brawl, for example, you're sitting there going, "Oh, is he doing something cool? I can't really tell." And of course, they can be doing really technical things in Brawl, but
Yeah.
you can't tell at a face value.
Definitely. I think, and maybe this is just the grievance I have with Brawl inside of me, but you could, like, for me, my personal opinion is you watch combo videos, you watch hype videos for these specific games, you see some crazy, elaborate, strung out combo in Melee. Even Smash 4, you're starting to see some really cool things happen, but Brawl is like a one hit. Oh, he grabbed him, he read him, and that's great. Like you have to have amazing fundamentals to play that game, and you have to be technically proficient in that own sense of the game. But I think where Smash 4 diverges from Brawl is in the fact that Sakurai, I guess, has learned a little bit more from their mistakes in Brawl. First off, they took out tripping. That's the best thing. First off.
God.
But I think
It's
they've allowed more aggressive options in Smash 4. Now, I'm not saying it's comparable to Melee in the sense that you're rewarded for aggressive play, but the thing that makes Smash 4 different than Brawl and different than Melee, but in a good way, is that you don't have to play defensively, play that game of chess in order to succeed in that game. You can choose to play aggressively, and you can do equally as well as someone who's rolling around the map the whole time. The game speed is perfectly fine to me, in my opinion. It's kind of that in-between between Brawl and Melee, it's fine by me. I somewhat disagree with DJ in the statement that it's more spectator appealing. At first, when I started watching it, I thought it was very Brawl-esque, and I mean, my opinion has changed as of late, and I think it is fun to watch now that I know more about the game. But like Dubby said, I think Melee has more of like an intro sort of gateway drug type deal where you can watch it and you see something really cool and you're like, that was fucking awesome. I'm going to keep watching this. Where Smash 4, it might take a little bit more to understand what actually happened. And then Brawl is just like far and away like the hardest AP class you've ever taken. And then it's like, you're never going to fucking pass that class, so don't even
high
worry
school
about it.
throwbacks here.
But yeah.
For the entertainment appeal of for Smash 4, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna get those super cool combos every bloody game that's played on stream. I mean, obviously you don't get that in Melee either. I mean, half the time when I tune into an SC Smash tournament, it's LeFou and Pikmin playing Falcon doubles dittos, and that's bloody awful for me. But because it's like, no. And but the thing is that you're still going to get those super cool combos, just not every game.
Right.
And so, and I mean, people have been and the thing about Smash 4 that I'm seeing now that I'm not sure really happened with Brawl when it came out. I don't remember. I can't remember back that far, but with Smash 4, you're getting all these people, like all these like bigger names on like YouTube. Like you've got people from the Yogs cast, and you've got like Shofu obviously, people like that are putting out content for Smash 4, and that's bringing in a lot more people than that's a lot more support for this game than what Brawl had, and I think that might actually give it the chance, or like give it a chance to succeed as a competitive title. And I mean, it's not even like big names on YouTube. There's just a lot of people coming out with content for this game. I mean, I'm sure everybody in the past like couple of weeks has seen the double Pac-Man strat for glory mode. That's complete and utter BS, because I mean, it's like anyone with a strong projectile can beat that. Oh, sorry to spoil the surprise for everyone, but
anyone with a projectile that can just nick them. But
dark pit shooting arrows upwards.
Exactly, but the fact still remains is that back when Melee was getting started, there was people putting out content for it, and there was people enjoying and watching that content. When Brawl happened, I don't really remember seeing like a good amount of just anything.
Right.
And while there are combo videos out there, like I remember I've seen and Esam himself put out a lot of tech on his YouTube channel. Like I learned a lot about playing Pikachu from watching his videos. But it seems to me like in its infancy, Smash 4 already has more people playing it than Brawl did at its peak. And while that may be a result of Nintendo riding the Melee resurgence into its new game, I do think that Smash 4 is more entertaining to watch for the general population. It's more entertaining to watch than Brawl is. Maybe not per se. It's not as nearly as flashy as Melee or like PM, but it certainly seems like it's a lot more entertaining than Brawl, and it seems like there's a lot more exposure for it than there was for Brawl.
Right. I think the enthusiast base almost was a lot more narrow for Melee, and even more narrow for Brawl than it is for Smash 4, because to me, when they, like you said, with Smash 4, the game came out and they kind of just took the foundation and took a wrecking ball to it, and they were like, we're starting over, open plane, and then that opens up the field to so many people like Shofu, like Yogscast, like you said, who can really just branch it out to people who never would have experienced a game like this. It's like you have Shofu showing Smash content to him when he's primarily a PokeTuber. Or you have Yogscast doing stuff where they're known for their variety of content, but they start doing stuff like this on a consistent basis, and it's like, wow, maybe I should look into this game. And that to me is really good. I think the game is doing a fantastic job in its early stages like this, but the main problem I see in the future is I honestly don't know where it can go from a competitive standpoint. And I would like to direct the conversation towards a recent Smashboards post that was translated from Sakurai, actually. I'll post the link in the YouTube description as I upload this to YouTube, but basically, long story short, Sakurai main quote from this was, if we direct Smash only at competitive players, it will have no future. And that was from Sakurai himself. He also announced that I don't think he was planning on incorporating any more patches in the future. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially for a lot of games to be successful. You look at League of Legends, you look at Dota, that MOBA genre sort of deal. They have patches to balance out the game when things get unfair in certain standards, or someone finds something that's way too good for its own good. I direct to DJ with the who goes to the grocery store and only buys one banana, but I feel like it's very difficult to have a game survive competitively that's not Melee, and not include any sort of balancing aspect to it for its future, if there's going to be problems with it. So what do you guys have to think about that?
Is Pat still here?
He's frozen. We actually lost him. I'm going to try to...
Am I here? My voice
you're here, yeah. You're
okay, good.
My internet's just being a pile of crap. So what is your question? Because I do want to address this.
Well, it would be almost a two-part question. One is more of just a... quantitative sort of deal, but what would you project the lifespan of competitive Smash 4 to be? I guess either on a yearly basis or anything along those lines would be my first question. And then the second question is, do you agree with Sakurai, and how do you think this situation could be alleviated if there were to continue without any patches for the game and whatever? How would competitive Smash 4 continue to live on?
Okay, so I guess for the first question, in terms of how long will Smash 4 last, I don't want to put a projection on it because I have played Brawl, and I played Brawl for a long time actually before I even got competitive with Smash. And it's Smash 4 is better than Brawl in my opinion, and it's definitely more appealing to viewers. I think one thing that keeps Melee alive for so long is the fact that you can see new stuff every day. Like I was watching Chillin' Dude. He was doing an interview with PC Chris, and he was saying how when he went to Super Sweet Prologue, he was seeing new things from Kalamazoo, like a Peachman. He was saying that you see these new things, like after all these years he's been playing the games, and I think that's important. And it's just, I guess what I'm trying to get around to is when does the game stop getting stale? And with Melee, you can really like see that.
Like a few years ago when Pew Pew
I
U
know.
appeared on the scene from California and just started bodying people with Marth after years of seeing the same Marth tech over and over and over and over again. That was really neat, and it's going right off what you said, Patrick, about how you can see new things in Melee.
Um, yeah, but one of my main points for I think if that something continues to be live, and I see this in Smash 4, like Walter, you're saying how you go online and just consistently roll. Like I think something that's continued is being defensive is very good in with these mechanics. And I think that's something important because in Melee, when you roll or when you try to do something, you can get read. While in Smash 4, I feel like reads are less, and I think reads are a big thing about like hype. And what's important. Now I understand, obviously, you can read air dodges and stuff like that. But I think there's a reason why Melee's been around for so long, and it's kind of it's something you don't even have to say. You watch the game and you can create your own stuff, and people are more and more trying to explore lower tier characters. They're trying to keep the game from being stale or outdated and whatnot. And I think that's great. I will say that my bias is that I don't enjoy watching Smash 4. I played it for a week and I was like, this is just not for me. But it's had pretty good success so far. I would love to see the Smashing grow regardless of what happens, or my opinion. I think the thing that I'm really trying to make point of is that if Smash 4 wants to, or how long it's going to live comes down to who plays it, how it's played, and how its meta develops. Because if it remains the same, it's not going to really flourish. It's going to end up like Brawl. But I have high hopes because I think it is doing well. And I have seen some pretty nice combos, I'm not going to lie.
Right. I think that, I mean, if Melee implemented the same things that any other game such as PM or whatever, patches, all that shit, if that was implemented, I don't think people would like it as much as they do. Smash 4, I feel like, and this might be different. I mean, we discussed things about patches and all that stuff in the previous episode, but I feel like Smash 4 may need to use a patch as almost like a crutch to continue with the game going on, because every time something happens in a game like that, it's the same reaction as what you get with Project M often, where you see things like Diddy, and then it's always a cry for help. This character is broken. I need help with something like this. And then if you're going to get that sort of competitive player input, instead of actually just looking at the game and saying, wow, this is unfair, that becomes an issue in itself. My other problem with, not necessarily a problem, I think Smash 4 is a great game, as I already said. But the issue I see going forward, sure, Smash 4 can continue on. And like I said, Nintendo is obviously going to opt to push their product. So Evo, any sort of upcoming national that would potentially feature Smash, I think you can expect to see Smash 4 there, because Nintendo has backed their product so much that they want it to appear wherever it can, continue on that hype train that they have developing. But here's the thing. We're edging on 5 Smash titles now. You got 64, Melee, Project M, Brawl, and Smash 4. 64 and Brawl kind of have faded out a little bit, but what's the fate of those next 3? Because no national, regional, higher upper echelon tournament is going to take on 3 games of the same installation in the series.
Well, yeah, Pat.
All right. One thing, I was watching Mango stream a week ago or something, and he's not, like, obviously Mango is his own character, but he was saying how he doesn't really care about Nintendo sponsoring Smash. He thinks that Melee got big again, and so Nintendo is riding its coattails, trying to just sponsor. And I mean, he was saying how he really hasn't seen a lot from Nintendo. He said they quote unquote sponsored Evo, but what did they give us? Just they put their name in they put Nintendo on the face of Evo, and they plugged Smash 4, but there was no pot prizes. There was nothing big or special. I think they might have done something for Apex, and I think they also, this is just my skepticism, they also don't really want to see PM being broadcasted I think they'd rather just be like, whoa, calm it down there. And I don't blame them. You know, I don't think companies want to see a modded game being more popular than their own game. Yeah, that's really all to say about that. I think it's great that Nintendo's sponsoring us, but if they want to sponsor, in my opinion, they need to start sponsoring. They don't need to just be like, hey, we support you, because I think in comparison to Sony and Microsoft, that's not enough.
You want it to be more than just a pat on the back. You want it to let's see something happen out of this. Let's see
Right.
like Nintendo putting some money into the community that likes their games so much.
Right. Yeah.
And see, I have a problem with this whole like Nintendo isn't really doing anything, and my problem with this is that before, like, take a look at where we were with Nintendo before last year. Just look back. What did they like? They didn't even whenever the competitive Smash scene was acknowledged, it was basically just Sakurai saying, "Hey, I don't want this. I don't want to make a game just for a group of maniacal fanatic players."
I mean, they tried to shut down Evo, so
And they could have like.
yeah, they really could have.
They could have, until they realized, wow, there are actually a lot of people who still love to play this game, and
People who
it
don't watch
might-
it sing played.
it might not be a bad idea to let them play their game, but and then go on to become a part of it. But we have to remember that it's like that 180, while it was fairly quick from like trying to shut down Evo to, hey, we're releasing a new Smash game and we would like to support the community. Let's have the E3 Invitational. Let's actually start running tournaments at like Nintendo World.
Yeah, I mean that's just a business move though. It's a business move. Like
Yeah, it's a business move. But it's also a bit. But you got to remember, it's also a business move for Capcom. It's also a business move for Sony. It's also a business move for Microsoft. Everything is a business move here. But what the problem here is that no one wants to feel like they're being used as part of some marketing ploy. But we got to remember that it's a process for them to become more of a part of the scene.
right.
Like, you still have Street Fighter players saying, "Hey, Capcom, why don't you put pot bonuses in such and such tournament?" You're always gonna have that, but what we don't want really, what actually we don't want is we don't want just Nintendo throwing money at us, throwing money at tournaments like, "Hey, here's a pot bonus now and then." What I think we need more than just the pot bonuses is a sort of infrastructure for players to continue to be brought into the game, and to meet new players to continue to play the game with. Like, if you look at Riot and how Riot and Valve have like their online games, that is easy to find new people to play with. You can hit the find match button immediately, queue up, and play with new people you've never played with before. Granted, probably not people you ever want to play with again, but you're playing with people around your skill level, and around your skill level in the game, and you have people practice with, whether you live in the fucking Arctic or you live in New York.
Right.
So basically, you want to smash solo queue.
But see, what they tried to do here is they gave us For Glory mode.
Yeah, and online play is something I do want to touch on. I would like to just quickly respond to what you said. I think it is I wanted to look at what SpinJump19 said in the chat real quick. He said, "I think it was revealed that the stifling of FPM was more of Alex Strife's personal decision in an effort to appease Nintendo, as opposed to something Nintendo ordained themselves." That was in response to what Patrick said earlier.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think in terms of things like nationals and stuff like that, when it's a Hunger Games, best man gets out, and maybe two Smash games are going to get out. I think it's less about stepping on Nintendo's toes and more about what would get the most viewers at this point now, because PM is totally fine with everything that's going on. So now it's just a point of how can, from the competitive Smash player view, how can we expand our scene even more so that, again, the overarching goal, we're esports, baby. How can we get that going? And then from Nintendo's perspective, how can we get more money? The business perspective. So that's my whole jurisdiction on what's happening with tournaments, at least. I can potentially see PM fading out in that sense because of that.
And I'm sad that that's happening. It does look like it's going that way. If more and more people try to appease Nintendo with their moves, then I think PM will start to wane.
Right. And in response to the whole Smash solo queue, I think Nintendo does a great job. As far as online play through a Nintendo product goes, Smash 4 has done a phenomenal job in the sense that it's not Brawl Online.
Yes, but you have to think about it at least the way I compare Smash 4 Online is rather than comparing it to Brawl, because we all know that Brawl had a lot of bugs in it with the online mode. I compare it to the other games that I can play online, like MOBAs and et cetera, et cetera.
Or
and
even
Halo
better,
and
just
other things
compare it. Just compare it to another fighting game. Street Fighter.
Exactly.
Street Fighter is one, and some of the problems I have with the For Glory is like Street Fighter at the very least has a ranking system.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a better chance of being matched up with someone around your skill level in Street Fighter than there is with Smash 4, because when the 3DS version came out, obviously, like, everybody still knew and everybody's still figuring this out, and some of the old Brawl players are coming back, and some people are better than others, and I get that. But now that we're a few months along, I'm still gonna run up against those people that are absolutely terrible at the game. But then the next game, I have just as much chance as running up against any of the professional people you're seeing on stream. Like I could run into Hungrybox if he was playing at any given moment,
yeah.
And I am nowhere near Hungrybox's level, but I'd still have that chance of running into him. Whereas in what's a competitive game? Or let's just go back to League, for example. I'm not going to solo queue up, and I'm not going to be put in a game with TSM Wild Turtle or Night Blue. It's not going to happen. Because I am like Wood 5 League, and they are like professional players. It's just not going to happen, and that's part of the appeal. There is you're gonna be with people that are just about as good as you, generally. And whether or not you believe in Elo Hell, that's a debate for another time. But you're generally going to be put where you belong in terms of skill that we don't have in Smash 4.
Yeah, the way the online system is implemented in Smash Wii U, it's baby steps, I think, but it's baby steps in the right direction, which is what's important. Because in my own personal opinion, I mean, the Wii U online system, it's a lot easier to navigate. It's a lot more user friendly than you'll find with people using, say, Dolphin or NetPlay, who want to play Melee online or try and play Project M online, anything like that. You want to see those people. You're gonna find a very small few number of people trying to use that. Maybe it's more now. It is more now, but Wii U Online provides a lot more versatility, I guess, for just any person to log on. It's like, hell, I plugged in this Wii U to my monitor and I just started playing For Glory. Where it's like, if I want to play Dolphin or NetPlay just so I can play Melee online, which maybe people feel is a more competitive game and want to have that sort of online ranking system, you're going to have to go through a whole slew of steps or understand the whole process with that, and I think that's difficult.
That's true, but besides just the matchmaking system, which I believe Sakurai released some statements saying that he would like to put out patches to increase the online playability and make that nicer. But Nintendo routinely, at least with their last two attempts with Brawl and Smash for Wii U and Smash for 3DS, they've hid very, very important statistics from the players in the name of making it more user friendly.
Right.
Like they don't give you your ping. And that's very important for these kind of games. You could be I was playing a dude the other day on my 3DS. I don't have the Wii U version. I was playing on my 3DS. I got a move in I mean, I'm going to exaggerate, but it felt like I got like a frame in every 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it feels like you're getting
as soon as
79% packet loss on a belt.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as I see someone with like Japanese characters in their name, I immediately just back out. And that's not even supposed to like stereotype in any way, but I'm like, I'm not even dealing with this.
It's interesting. I have a better time against and I can't assume they're Japanese because I know there's weeaboos out there, but if they have Japanese characters in them, I do just fine against them. And then I have somebody from like North Dakota, and I can't play against them because they they're not 15 feet from their
Because-
router like I am.
yeah.
Yeah.
In response to the patches, I think if they go through with patches like that, we can potentially see a whole big problem like we talked about in the last episode with Project M, and how all these patches happen and then the developers just go, well, shit, everyone wants these changes, so let's just start nerfing everyone because we have no idea what to do. And that's a very harsh generalization of what I meant for the PM team, but hopefully the idea gets across from that.
Sakurai actually made comments on patches general. First thing that I read from one of his, I guess the article that we were kind of talking about, is that he said that they apparently that they don't really have the resources to make consistent patches, which I just cannot believe for Nintendo. But on top of that, he was saying how, you know, he'd only want to make minor changes, not to destroy a character, which is a good concept. But he seemed like, on top of the whole Smash has no future as a competitive game, it goes to show not going to patch it to be configured towards competitive. He's going to configure it so everyone has a good time, which is fine. But for us as a competitive scene, it's not. And I think that's something important to consider. I don't think it's going to do anything ridiculous like nerf a character to the brinks of hell, but I don't think we should be, personally, of course I'm biased again, I don't think we should be like, oh, this next patch will really help me out, because he doesn't care. He says that Smash has no future as a competitive game, which we've seen from Melee, especially this year, with Apex being the biggest tournament of all time. That's very very wrong.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to keep in mind that this is also Sakurai who said, I'm not making any more Smash games after Brawl, after Melee, after whenever it was, I'm done. I think when it comes to, when push comes to shove, if there's a way for a company to make money, and if that involves patches and getting more people involved into the game, they're gonna do it. And again, I mean, if there's no money in it, which I think there can be, because Nintendo's pushing really hard for all these invitational tournaments, all of getting the Smash 4 scene and competitive scene recognized. There will be money in it, so I can see a reason for them to want to continue patches, but then by the same token, I can understand why they won't.
Yeah, well, going back to what you said a second ago, Pat, that you can't believe that they don't have the money and resources to keep putting out patches and balances and stuff like that. Well, you have to think about the people who actually made the game. It is overall under Nintendo because it's their characters and it's their rights and it's their game.
Yeah.
But they contracted the company that Sakurai actually works for, Sora. They're the guys who actually make the game.
Right.
They just have Nintendo characters.
Right.
And Sora,
I've never seen that in like the game itself. I've never seen like the name of that company, so I did not know
It's like
that.
in a footnote because Nintendo's like, it's our game.
Yeah. It's our characters, so.
And I think that Sora, I'm not entirely sure because I don't have all the statistics on Sora, but I think that Sora is a smaller company that gets contracted to do these kind of things. And if they don't have the manpower to be able to consistently put out updates because they don't have enough people, because everybody's working on different games and they've got testers and programmers and designers doing all this different stuff, they just simply can't afford to waste the materials going like, hey guys, you're working on this new game. Wait, we got to go back and balance Smash for a second. Okay, we're back to what we were doing.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I mean, Spin Jump coming in hot on this chat. I want to read another comment that he said here because he brings up a really good point. He says the difference between Smash and an esport, as an esport and a game like League of Legends or StarCraft, is that those games have been completely supported as an esport by their developers. That's 100% correct, and I 100% agree with Spin Jump there.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not disagreeing in any way, but and this is more of an observation than an argument. There's something that this community confuses a lot, and that's Nintendo's support. And while yes, we've established it's a marketing ploy, but it's a marketing ploy for literally every other esports game company. Nintendo's support is not developer support. We don't have developer support for our game. So even if it's Nintendo's game, we're more than likely never going to see the changes that we want as a competitive game to Smash
Right.
4. It's just not going to happen.
And segueing off that a little bit, I think it's also really important to consider that this competitive scene for Smash as a whole, it was a grassroots community. We literally started from scratch. We were building from the bottom up, and we've gotten to where we are today because of the small town communities that we built that happened to just start linking up together. Whereas you find a game like Spin Jump said that has been supported by their developers, it has been branded as an esport from the get-go. That's something that's just important to understand, because Smash was never intended as a game to be an esport. And now you look at where we are now in 2015, and it's absurd. Okay.
Actually, before we leave the topic of patches, and because we're talking about StarCraft now,
We might as well get into why the Zerg are overpowered.
Actually, yes.
Oh, don't get him started.
I actually wanna like just touch on and like just provide an example rather than ranting about, hey, we've completely destroyed an entire character through patches and nerfs, and what that does to a competitive scene. Well, look at StarCraft scene right now. Look at what it used to be, and look at where it is now compared, and what changed. Blizzard really listens to the loudest competitive voices, and that's generally Reddit's wood tier theory crafting. Now, and so that's why it's just become such a drag, and that's why Zerg is now Terran is overpowered, or whoever is at this point. I'm a TOS player, so obviously I'm not going to say them. Yeah, no, I think everyone's really mad about Terran right now. Well, just Widow Mines, but it's just the difference there is you see League and Dota. I mean, obviously they're very different. They're very different games. One's an RTS, and the other two are MOBAs. But you see how they do their patches. It's their team watching how competitive play pans out. And with Dota, it's IceFrog, who is mainly in charge of the patching and balancing.
Okay.
And it's a dedicated team within the company to watch how games play out. And I'm not saying that Blizzard doesn't do this, and I'm not saying that Nintendo and Sakurai in itself has not done this. Because I'm pretty sure Sakurai has mentioned that he has a team monitoring online play.
That's how they did. That's how they did the first patch.
And that's how they figured out, hey, Lil Mac's not being used. We thought he'd be awesome one-hit KO punch. He should be great. Why aren't people using him?
Oh, wait, he sucks?
Oh, wait, he sucks because we completely got it backwards. But the thing is here is that we have to, with the whole patch thing, we have to leave it. We really need to understand that we need to leave it to the companies themselves to monitor the usage and make the right decision, rather than just listen to the top voices. Now, it's good to listen to high level players. It is very good. I know IceFrog, and I'm pretty sure he was joking about the Diddy joke because he plays Diddy.
I'm just playing.
But
irony.
Yeah, irony. But I mean, I know in general, IceFrog listens to the higher level Dota players, like EG's players and Alliance and them. And I'm sure League of Legends does a bit of the same, but they have their own run tournaments that they can get data from to watch. And in a perfect world where Smash was what we had developer support for a competitive scene, they would be watching our tournament, watching the competitive scenes tournaments to make their changes off of. But we don't really have any of that. PM kind of has the ability to do that, but they don't. They kind of just listen to tin bracket Reddit theory crafting, and hey, we can't go to the store and buy 2 bananas anymore. Yeah, but what did we lose there?
Right.
And I guess I just wanted to make that comment about patching. It's that patching is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is not necessarily a good thing. I mean, and we all know that from Melee. And while Melee is I've never seen a more boring meta in my entire life, it's still it's a very fun game.
Right.
Mhm.
Boring
So
meta,
finally-
boring meta
Falcon
with
Meadows
new
is still fun
things
to watch.
happening.
My only question to that is so obviously patching would be terrible. I've seen it happen. But what do you say when the creator, the developer team says, all right, no more patches, it's over? Like, what is your counter argument? Because I get what you're saying, that they should watch it and make it. Like, obviously Sakurai makes good games, we play them. But what do you say if they're like, okay, we're done making patches because we don't really care? Because that's what it seems like Sakurai first. Because he did make a comment like, "Oh, I'm probably not going to continue patches."
I think if it's
Yeah, no,
something
I
that
remember.
starts up and then it's an immense drop off like that, like you said, then I mean, first off, that's not even a good move from a business perspective.
No, it's not.
By any sense, by any means, it's terrible to do that because you drop off that tremendously. You just completely lost all support from the current people you play with, as well as future people who would want to play certain games by that company. So I can't say I particularly foresee something like that happening. If it were to happen, it would suck basically for just anyone involved.
I disagree completely. I wholeheartedly disagree with the fact that Sakurai stopping his patching for Smash 4 is a bad thing. In fact, I think that might actually be the best thing that could possibly happen for competitive Smash 4 as a whole.
Oh,
Melee has survived for 14 years maybe not that long as a competitive game, but as a competitive game, it has long survived with not even the finally patched version.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Smash as a competitive game, it's a game that we decided how to play.
Right.
And the same thing's happening in Smash 4. Like, you already have people arguing about stage lists. You already have people arguing about stock count even. And the thing here is that the minute Sakurai stops patching the game to make it even less competitive than it already is the day we can rejoice and finally start figuring out how the game really works.
Perhaps I should recraft my comment to that. Because I am a firm proponent of allowing the meta to kind of just like happen instead of forcing it through patches like that. The way I wanted to word that to people was just, I guess, from a general player perspective. If you have something going on and it immediately stops, I feel like there will be a negative reaction to that. From a competitive standpoint, if patches were to start, I think from competitive standpoints, competitive players would grime and moan about it or whatever.
Yeah,
and then when
definitely.
they stop, they'd be very happy about it. Casual players perhaps on the other end of that spectrum, but again, we can't really assume that.
Or just don't care.
Yeah, so I mean, from a competitive standpoint, I 100% agree with you, DJ. I just wanted to kind of reword what I said earlier to make more sense a little bit.
Anyone who's watched the previous episode of this podcast knows that Walter really wants the meta to develop by itself. I mean, and that point has been beaten to death over the issues with PM, and it just really has. We've been there, done that, and the thing about that I feel about Smash 4, and I know I'm really talking a lot, and I'm sorry guys, but the thing about Smash 4 that I feel is that if Sakurai suddenly had a change of heart, he's like, fine, you know what, competitive gaming, not a bad idea. I've seen the competitive light. We're gonna start making changes for the competitive field. Then we have a singularly unique problem, and that is how do they handle the patching? And if it's how Sakurai's been handling the patching, where it's just minor tweaks and everything, we're fine. And he does it, and as long as he does not listen to the tin league bracket theory crafting on wherever, Smashboards, Reddit, wherever, it would be fine. I mean, you see Valve's Dota patches, and I don't know if any of you play it, and I'm sorry if these comparisons have just been way off base. Like, you see how they handle it, and it's generally like, oh, Silencer's a broken hero, but you don't see Silencer getting nerfed. You don't see Silencer getting buffed. You just see Silencer, like, a number here and there is being tweaked.
Yeah.
And-
See, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, with exactly what you're saying about what Sakurai did with the last patch. They saw what was happening online, and they fixed the stupid, essentially.
Yeah.
They were just like, okay, we need to buff this by 1% and this by 1%, make this auto cancel a little bit earlier, make Luma come back in 12 seconds rather than in 5.
Oh my god.
Just that kind of stuff was great. And I mean, right now in the current meta, Diddy is a little bit too easy to get combos with. But I've seen more and more people, as the thing is going on, learning how to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can rehash this for just 1 second, I believe that one of the problems with the way PM was patched was not necessarily that they how frequently they did it, because when they did the patches, you have to plug your SD card back in, go back and re-download the game. And if you have to download the game that way rather than it being directly connected to the internet like a lot of the games are, then you have to make broad sweeping changes. You can't just update it every 15
That's
minutes.
true, yeah.
Let's do a small buff here and a small nerf here and a small buff. They have to do sweeping stuff. And if they don't, then the game doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is stuff that we have discussed in the previous episode. Minor tweaks are, I think, paramount
Key.
for this sort of thing, and it's very important. I love the picture, Pat. It's and it's like you said.
having a hard
I
time,
totally I totally understand what you're saying with the sweeping changes and everything like that, because you can't easily go ahead and say let's do this little small change and then see what happens after millions of people re-download the game to their SD card, which could take up to hours. Plug the game back in, try it out for a few minutes, say this sucks, and then bring it back and say do it again. So
And I think the flip side of the PM debate, and I think we're getting a little off topic here, but I just want to say this, is that
you froze on like the perfect face. Sorry, I had to say that.
But no, I think the thing about the PM thing here is that everyone forgets that they do have the higher level players of the community helping to test the small changes that they make. So so while it appears to everyone else on the outside of the PM backroom, or the PM development team that is now called, as broad sweeping changes, to them it really is like they go over and they test it. And if you go and look at the build number, the development build number on their site, it does change very, very, very frequently, like sometimes like twice, 3 times a day. But I do think we're getting a little off topic here.
We can.
I'm gonna wrap that statement up hopefully into one nice little package. But I think what we're trying to get at for the in terms of patches balancing, which we have discussed extensively in the previous episode, but specifically for Smash 4, what's required for this game to succeed is not someone to constantly make patches and changes. Again, allow the meta to develop, but perhaps having someone there not as a justiciar to like change everything, but as more of a spectator to watch how the meta evolves and see if it's going in the right direction. And from there you can figure out if the meta is going in the right direction, great, we don't need to change it. If it's not, what's wrong? And we'll keep watching to see if that problem persists, or if it's going to be a melee problem where it lasts for maybe a few months and then people figure out ways around it until the meta truly solidifies itself. How's that sound?
You need to add like a little disclaimer at the end. These opinions do not reflect the views of the
True. Anyway, I would like to touch on this also because I feel like this is very important for a discussion regarding Smash 4's future. Custom special moves. To kind of wrap it back into this. People have been edging on the idea for tournaments involving custom moves, not involving custom moves. First off, I just want to air out, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, I agree with Pat. Yes, I think that custom moves have been rolled out in tournaments on a small scale, but they have been rolled out in tournaments across the U.S. and TOs have been experimenting with getting them in there. And there have been projects like the critical mass custom moves sets where you can just take one 3DS and upload the 111, 222, and 333 sets, and then they tried to decide which sets would be the most beneficial to characters and to each character, so that they could just upload each of those sets to the Wii U and then they'd be done with it, it'd be very quick.
Right.
And so it's a very quick implementation of custom moves. But I mean, I think the main concern here is for people is, one, are there too many? Is there just too much information for any given person to process? And two, does it make anyone completely overpowered? And three, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
And for the too much information to process, I honestly don't think that's the case. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird. It's gonna be kind of shaky at first, like
right.
just how it is. But as for that, it doesn't make anyone too OP. From what I have seen, and now I'm no expert on custom moves. I will put that out there right now. From what I have seen is that already good characters don't really benefit from custom moves for the most part. Like Diddy doesn't get any better than he already is, because most of his playstyle right now is based around getting a grab and then throw it and then going into up airs forever. Like that's not affected by custom moves at all. But the lower tier characters, as we will I guess refer to them right now, that don't really see tournament play, like maybe the Pack God or Olimar. I mean, they can and do benefit from the usage of custom moves, and without jeopardizing the game's balance. Now, and that's why I think that custom moves should be implemented, is because they help balance out the game instead of just destroying it.
I think I forget who made this comment earlier in the podcast, but someone said in terms of melee, we've been seeing this meta for 15 years, but we're constantly seeing more and more new things happening every day. I think with custom moves and the implementation of those, especially in tournament settings, you're going to see observations like that just tenfold. It's going to be because you don't understand. A lot of people will not truly understand how certain customs can synergize with each other, how they can change a person's play style. It can change your play style from defensive to an offensively capable character. You look at, I watched a 3DS stream of a tournament that allowed customs. They had a Greninja in grand finals. When are you going to see that? When are you going to see? I haven't seen anyone really play Greninja often that much at all. You see a Greninja with the custom on his Shuriken, and instead of pushing them away, it drags them in. So you could do setups where you do Shuriken into up smash or something like that. And that was really cool for me to see, because it's a fresh perspective. Of course, just tuning into the stream late, I was like, what the fuck, why is this happening? Because I had no idea they had customs on. But I think if you allow customs from the get-go, it lets people adjust and figure out ways to work with their character more so. And it's less about learning about your opponent, but more about exploring your own character's options and what you can do better with your customs. And that opens up a whole plethora of options in terms of matchups too. You see, like, if you allow customs across the board, you have, I am a Mario against, I don't know, a Diddy. How can I use my customs to my ability that will better my matchup against this Diddy in particular? But then on the next match, how can I revert it back against a different character? One more thing I just wanted to talk about very quickly with that is I want to focus in particularly on a character I'm fond of, but that's Palutena, because her customs aren't customs. They completely change her moveset. So to me, it's interesting to either completely outright customs or allow them when you have a character whose entire play style can change off of using different customs.
Can you go through hers for us? Because I have no idea what Palutena is.
I've seen them. I can't describe them. Perhaps
some of them
Dubby
are like,
can do it better than me.
So complex.
Like her side B is usually that shield, and she can do it so she like goes super fast, and then you can act out of it. And her down B turns from a counter into like something that makes her floatier for 5 seconds. Yeah. It's like the Wii Fit Trainer's like meditation thing, but it makes you floatier. So
I
you
have
jump
seen.
higher and stuff like that.
I think it's the custom up B. And people have even started to implement text where the custom up B, I think it's similar to like a Rosalina and Luma up B, where you can just go in any direction. I don't know if that's correct, actually, but I know people were almost like pseudo wave dashing with it if you just angle it towards the ground and stuff. So to me, like, especially with a character like that, if we're going to focus in on one character, that's interesting. because it changes the whole dynamic of
Yeah.
a character.
Yeah, I hate to play the devil's advocate here, but I'm not a big fan of customs just because, like you guys were saying, how it's not that much information to process, but it's almost like you're running a comp because it's
Yeah.
like you're sitting there talking to your opponent, and you're like, okay, which Mario are you running? And they're like, okay, I'm running the big fireball whirlwind cape down B that shoots you like 10 miles that way comp, and you're like, oh crap, I don't know how to
Right.
counter this with anything.
Yeah.
And that'll take a while to develop if
Yeah.
we do customs, and everything's going to take a while because we're doing that. But I think that it will reset a meta that's in its fledgling right now,
Yeah.
and I don't want to reset it too early. At least that's just my own opinion about it. Now, when you're talking about Palutena, I am totally on board with letting Palutena do customs because she has different moves for everything rather than it's like, okay, Fox's Blaster does this, or it goes slow, or it goes really fast and does no damage.
Right.
Versus Palutena, who just doesn't even, not even the same character, or the Mii characters.
Right, and I'd like to comment on that because you bring up a really good point with that. Especially for tournament scenes, Bronco Ned does say in the chat, tournaments would take forever. That's kind of correct, I think. The main issue I see with that, which came off of your comment, was it changes how counter picks are done. It changes how stage selection is done. It changes how you entirely think of the game. And going back to what DJ said with too much information to process, while the custom moves themselves might not be too much information to process because you'll have a general understanding that, oh, he has this move, but it does something different, and I need to just figure out what it is. How do the custom moves affect matchups on certain stages, matchups with different characters? How is that going to affect it when, say, I win game 1 against you, and then I have to say, okay, it's the
Are you switching comps?
to me it seems like the same thing as the Hungrybox Armada matchup in Melee, where it's like back a couple years back it became Hungrybox going, okay, I'm going to double blind Ness into your Young Link. And then if you want to switch from Young Link to Peach because you won game 1, I'm just going to switch to Puff and then win.
Yeah.
But then since I won the game, I either stay Puff and you switch to Young Link, or I try and call your bluff and switch to Fox or Ness, and then we just go back to the same thing we've had before. And that's something that I can see happening a lot if you
And they
implement
take their time
customs.
in Melee.
Yeah. So God forbid it happens in this game, but
I want to comment on custom moves. I played Smash 4 very little, but I explored like special moves for Samus, and people are saying Samus is a low tier. I argue otherwise.
I do too.
But
She's annoying.
But there's things that she could do, like she has a large charge shot that's much stronger than her original one, and it goes slow. Similar to like Lucario and PM, how he has the huge orb that he can throw. She has a down B that can potentially kill. It's like a larger bomb and goes off slower, but it's like a setup. And then she
Yeah.
also has missiles that they come out and then they home in at the person and shoot off really quickly. And I think it's one thing that I'm afraid of in terms of Smash 4, which like I don't think it is going to go as far as Melee, is because it doesn't have as much depth as Melee. Because with Melee, and all arguments about what L canceling and wave dashing, how they weren't supposed to be there aside, they make the game deeper. We see these TAS videos with things that humans can't do,
Yeah.
but strive to be able to do, and that's incredible. Like, for people to be able to do these things, and these custom moves are like, obviously Smash 4 has depth. There's no question about it. But these custom moves make it so there doesn't have to be that question of, okay, is there more to this game or not? But I do see that argument that it's gonna take forever to get through a tournament, especially when someone's like, all right, hold on, gotta set up my stuff.
Yeah.
But for learning information, learning moves, I don't think that should be a complaint, because people did it with Melee. Like, people know every move in Melee. I don't think, if you're dedicated enough, if you care enough, I think you should know. I think you should study that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show that it can be competitive, and it takes more than just your hands. It takes your mind.
100%. I mean, customs add an entirely new dimension of gameplay to what Smash 4 has to offer. A thing that I think is pretty neat about implementing customs is you start having customs added into a tournament competitive scene like that, and it's going to give spotlight to a lot more players than just your top 8, top 16 players, because you're going to say like, oh man, like, do you remember that Greninja who used that Shuriken up smash setup? Like, that was pretty cool. I'm gonna start doing that, and that's how you push games forward to the point where maybe even custom moves become a way that people just start understanding which are the best custom move setups, and then that just becomes the norm for the future.
But there's also, I just pulled down my calculator just because I wanted to run the sheer numbers on how many different sets you could potentially run into at any given time.
Oh yeah.
And if my math is correct, and I'm not the best at math, but it looks like there are over 3,000 combinations of characters that you could be playing against.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
Yeah, I'll agree. Okay.
That's a lot.
I didn't realize how many.
Like, because each character has 4 special moves. Yeah, 4 special moves. Those have 3 separations each. There are 52 characters.
Yeah. I'd like to comment on that
it.
very quickly before you get in on that, DJ. Just before I forget, I compare
So badly.
I compare that to, and this just came off the top of my head. The combination, the custom move combinations. The first thing that came into my head was, I guess, team comps in, say, a game like Marvel vs. Capcom, or like the support characters or like support abilities in Marvel vs. Capcom. Again, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with those games as I am with Smash, but how many combinations do you have for Marvel vs. Capcom where you can have, say, lead Storm, second Magneto, third like Wolverine or something like that?
Well, hold on, I'll look it up.
And again, I mean, I believe Marvel vs. Capcom has its own level of depth where you can have your layout of characters and then also what they like specialize in or something like that. I could be wrong, but this is just something that came off the top of my head, so I wanted to just bring that into the discussion. DJ, go ahead.
Alrighty, time for my incredibly long rant about this particular topic. No, I'm just kidding. But I do. All right, so now the point about, all right, so there's 2 main points I want to tackle, and it's one, the time constraints, obviously, because that would be a huge problem in implementing custom moves, see if it's even worth it, right? And then 2 is the too much information to process, and because if there's just too much information, then it's really just not worth it to implement it when we could just be playing with a vanilla game and everybody would be happy anyway. Or for the most part, right now everyone's happy without customs in it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so too much time to it would take too much time to implement it, and people would take forever to counterpick and whatnot. All right, so I'm gonna link this all to you in Skype, and hopefully, and I'm sure Walter will add it to the whatever the YouTube description. Yeah. YouTube description later for everyone who's watching this right now, if you want to hear what I'm talking about. But this is a project that a few community members have been undertaking, and it's called the Official Standard Custom Move Set Project and this is like the initial release of it. And what it is, it's a group of community members, and it's one of the Balanced Brawl designers who took it upon himself to start this up. And there's even a video for explaining it, but the gist of it is that they're trying to they tried to come up with the critical sets generally for each character that they would need, and then there would also that are super necessary options for 90% of the players. And then they also came up with supplemental sets that are generally used for counterpicking, or they suit the less common preferences that players like to use. So they've tried to cover 90% of the player base, and then they've tried to go a step further and cover like the last 10% as best they could. And now I'm not sure if you all are familiar with how you can choose, like, just pick your custom move set in the Wii U version, but how you do is you can transfer over your sets from the 3DS, and then you just go, and then you literally just turn customs on, pick your character, and then you pick whatever set you have transferred over. And that takes all right, so you click like 2 more buttons. Now, if you're a player that uses a custom move set that's been loaded into a Wii U, you know which custom move set you're going to go counterpick to. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that takes a little more time is maybe if we require that player to say, hey, I'm using the 1-2-3-1 build for comp for Mario, and like, oh god, we have to say a few words to our opponent in the middle of a match.
Right.
Communication sucks.
And I know communication is not the strongest suit of many of our colleagues, but
Colleagues.
it just seems like to me that while yes we are adding in more of a choice for players, it seems to me that if we just put it in now, it's going to develop like I don't know if any of you follow the competitive Pokemon scene, but every Pokemon has a pretty big move pool that you can choose moves from.
Right.
And every like competitive tier of Pokemon has a good number of Pokemon that you can choose to build your team from, and each of those Pokemon has a huge moveset, and that's a lot of information to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that there's a number of Pokemon in each tier that are very good,
Right.
and each Pokemon has two or three good movesets that are generally always run. And the thing is that that's probably, if we do implement custom moves, and as I've already said, it's not going to take long to set up. It's probably not going to take that much more. If your tournament is running efficiently already, your tournament is not going to run any less efficiently from implementing custom moves. It's just going to take a bit more time to set up, so you may have to arrive at the venue a little earlier to set it up. But as far as actual gameplay wise, it's not going to take up too much more time. It's going to be a couple seconds here and there. And while I'm sure optimizer nuts are going to go crazy over that, it's not that big of a deal. So in a sense, the time constraints is not really an issue as to if it's worth implementing custom moves or not. Now, the too much information, that could be a deal breaker.
Okay.
But my point here is that if you look at the competitive Pokemon scene, like I know that's a turn-based game and you have time to think about your moves and everything, and
Those sets take like half an hour.
I know you sit and you process it. You can sit there and process that information, but the thing is everybody who's high-level competitive Pokemon player knows what the good sets are. They generally know what sets the opponent's Pokemon are running, and if we implement the custom moves as soon as possible, that's going to happen with the vast majority of the Smash the competitive Smash play. It's just that
it's not going to be happy.
Yeah, who cares right now? Like
I know.
we've gotten this far. We can.
No, I know. I don't care.
But see, the thing is that idea of too much information is not. It's not going to be an issue. It's only going to be an issue as long as we keep putting off implementing custom moves.
Right. Quick question I wanted to air out, as well as something I thought and quickly jotted down. In terms of that calculation you ran, Dubby, I am not very familiar with this in Smash 4, but do the Mii customs, do they have their own set of customs? And if so, do each of the customs qualify with each of the sets of moves you can give to a custom Mii? Because
when you make a Mii to begin with, like that's the only way they get on your little grid of what you do is if you make a Mii. And every time you make a Mii, they start out with the defaults, but it immediately prompts you to go change them.
Okay.
The game prompts you to go change.
I guess my question is, I know with the Mii you can have, like, say, two brawler Miis, but they have two different movesets. Like their aerials are different, all this stuff. Would that necessarily mean that their customs are different as well? Or they have the potential to be different because they each have different movesets?
I'm sorry, repeat the question?
Yeah, rephrase your question.
So because you can choose what moves go on to a Mii, that means that each Mii has, like, you can have a Mii brawler with one set of B moves and then its own set of customs, which are
the B
totally
moves and
unique
the
from any
go
other
together.
Mii.
The B moves and the customs go together.
Okay, they do. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
Yeah, no, are you talking about like equipments, Walt?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
No, I think the general opinion means that equipments are just banned flat across the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tried with that whole heavy gravity.
No, that
Smooth
was the
lander.
thing.
Right, yeah,
For like
that's-
5 minutes.
that's
not
what I
gonna
wanted
work
to
until somebody cracks
clarify.
the RNG.
Yeah.
The second thing, and this is probably more of just a food for thought thing, but you see in competitive Smash, you see winner of game 1 gets to ban stage, something they don't like in a matchup. Do you think there's ever a possibility, because like DJ said, there's only several move sets that would probably be considered good in the likely future of Smash 4 with customs. So would you think there's ever a possibility for maybe a banning system with customs in mind? That was just something that came to my head. I don't know if it's particularly likely to happen, but I felt like that would introduce a whole new dynamic, especially with emphasizing the banning system.
It's not middle down the stage list.
I feel like with the banning of custom moves, it's more of if we do implement the custom moveset as is like how it's set out in this custom moveset project. I mean, over time, people are gonna realize what movesets work and what ones really just don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then they're gonna drop the ones that don't. It's just how it's gonna work. And so I mean, if we give it enough time, I mean, Melee's been developing for how many years, and we've ended up with a 5-character meta and like 5 stages. I mean, given enough time, people are gonna drop the bad stuff, and I mean, and in that sense, I don't think the banning of certain movesets, unless we have like another Meta Knight-esque like problem.
Yeah, right. I mean, what my immediate thought was to the question that came into my mind was it kind of, I think, would just become a knee-jerk reaction at that point, where it's like, all right, I went down to game 1 against you. What customs were you using? I banned those. So it's, I wanted to ask. I don't necessarily see it being likely because of reactions like that, unless it's done with very good limitations at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean,
it might. I hope it doesn't come down to that, because that'd just be annoying.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I just don't see any like fair way that you could implement a banning of a custom moveset.
Right.
I think what should be focused on in that instance is just coming up and compiling a really good stage list.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that would be, in a sense, more important than the custom moveset.
If you can get stages as close to neutral as you possibly can, then you're not going to run into as many problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Remove the jank, then you just remove the jank out of everything.
Right.
Or remove the jank out of the stages, remove the jank out of everything.
Yeah. All right. I think
I think, just to finally wrap that stuff up, it's difficult to do that. I just wanted to present the idea. If in fact one of you guys think of a way that to logically do that in a fair manner, I would love to hear it, because I want to elaborate more on that potentially. The main thing with customs is mainly just, I guess, like Dave Nick says in the chat, we should probably ban that one Mii Brawler custom that can be an insta-kill if timed correctly. I think for customs, if you want custom to exist, again, the same deal as allowing the meta to evolve in Smash 4 as a whole. Perhaps have someone outlying as a spectator, watching the meta happen, being there to snuff out things that are potentially considered overpowered, like what Dave Nix mentioned in the chat. And then just having that person there as an outlier to figure this stuff out and then present the problems to someone else who can potentially make changes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That sounds fair.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think what's up?
Is it time for Ask New Meta?
It is time for Ask New Meta. I think that's going to do it for our competitive Future of Smash 4 section. I would love to have another episode to just reignite a conversation about Smash 4. I think we had a really, really good discussion on it, and the game's very young, so there's a lot more to talk about as developments happen within the game, so I think we have a lot to do. But moving on, Ask New Meta, this will be the last part of the show. Questions from last episode. I did get one from Jack Foster. He said, hashtag Ask New Meta, who's going to win Apex and why is it PPMD? So that's all I wanted to say with that one, because I was very pleased with that question. I guess if you guys really want, we can go into theory crafting Apex happening next weekend if you want to.
Or how about just in order, everyone, who do you think's gonna win Apex, and just give like a short 1 to 2 1 to 2 sentence.
1 to 2
answer.
hour.
Can we do like
explanation
can we
of why
do, can
you
we do
think
like
it's-
top 3? Because I wouldn't like.
Yeah, no, and top three
Okay,
sounds fine. to
top
me.
3 is fine. If
Okay, should I
you'd
go
like
first?
to start, Pat.
Starting with
Yeah,
that.
sure. Okay, so just say their names, or like are we talking about
Just say your top 3 in order, and then give some like a short justification.
Or in
for
any
what-
order.
Or,
Okay, top 3, not in a specific order.
all right.
I genuinely think it's gonna be Hungrybox, Mango, maybe Armada. And the reasons why I say this is because Mango, like after Beast, I think he decided to put on his tryhard trousers, and he's gonna go all out, as he usually does. Especially now that it's the biggest thing ever. You know, tryhard Mango's is the like second most feared Mango next to Final Form Angry Mango. I don't know. He just, you know, whenever he says, "Hey, I give a crap, I'm gonna win this," he wins it almost every time. We've seen that in MLG and
2-time Evo champ.
Evo,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Hungrybox, ever since the big house where he had a horrible placing, he has not had a set taken off of him. Not a single one. He's beaten M2K. He's beaten Armada. He beat Armada Evo, which was big. And he didn't face. I don't think he faced Leffen at Paragon.
He didn't, but Leffen beat him in a money match earlier in the day.
Right,
But,
okay.
I mean that
But-
doesn't.
I think Hungrybox, like almost same thing after ever since the big house, he was kind of like, wow, I'm really not placing well. I need to get back into it. And on top of that, he tried to change up his style this past year. Mango had taken note of that, but I don't know. Like personally, I see the fire in his eyes or whatever. I think he's going to do it better. And then Armada's just Armada. He's like an upgraded M2K in my personal opinion. I think because he came in Paragon, he did too well. He placed the lowest he ever has at any tournament. But you know, jet lag and running beast, blah blah blah, whatever. But I just think he's here to win it. Like he wants it. And he's hungry for it, and I think that's what's important. So those are my 3. If I were to say a surprise one, just randomly, I would say Axe because I love Axe. So
Yeah,
but
I'd like to just input something really quick with your comment on Mango. Tweet from him on a couple days ago, and I found
Mango's
this
practicing.
really, really entertaining. And I just wanted to comment it before we moved on to Dubby. But the tweet was, if Armada switches to Fox, enter. I'm switching to Falcon.
Yeah, that's
Enter.
right.
Your move, Adam. So I think that's like really cool. Like I think he's really
but
getting ready to not go into 20xx, but really have just like the tournament scene continue to show a number of character varieties. In the years where you have Hax and Armada switching to Fox, you get to see the Fox main of Legends switching to Falcon. I just find that very
to
interesting.
counteract that statement that Mango made. I mean, it's not like counteracting it, but to like say something that Armada said on his Twitter. He said that, you know, the switch to Fox should never happen. He's put way too much time into Peach. That he's just like, that should never be a thing, having to switch to Fox. So I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, Armada is Peach. So I don't. I'm done. I'm done myself.
Armada has said that he is going to be going Peach and Fox for Apex.
Yeah.
Wow.
Getting both ready.
But he's keeping the Peach. He's not like going full
Right.
on Fox. So I think he's got a good chance there.
Cool. All right, W, you want to go?
Sure. I can't say with any amount of certainty that my list is going to be accurate. I agree with Patrick for the most part. I think that Armada and Mango will definitely be up there. I have suspicions that PP will jump up there into the top 3 this time. But again, granted, I haven't been keeping up with the Melee brackets very much lately. At least not the high tiers. I really still enjoy watching the low tiers, but I haven't watched the high tiers. So I could call out 3 random names and just hope that they win. And those are the 3 random names that I think I'm going to call out this time.
All right.
All right, DJ.
All right, since I'm not really qualified to make predictions after my Extinction 3 prediction of Dubby taking it,
I don't know why you thought it's going to happen
because I really just felt like destroying all credibility I had.
to you at some
But,
point. It was, I'm going to take Smash 4 next tournament. You watch.
And, like nothing like that ever happened though, and I was just like, you know what, I really think Dubby has a shot, and you know what, oh well, But all right, so for my top three, I'm definitely gonna put Mango up there. In no particular order. I think Mango said he's practicing, and practicing Mango is scary.
Practices against his baby.
Kid knocked over an entire shelf of games and picked up Melee. I'd be scared of Mango Jr. All right.
Yeah, he's gonna be a prodigy.
And all right, so I've got Mango in there. I always have to bet on PPMD, no matter what, just because like the fellow Falco main, and I'm a huge fan of EG anyway. And once I picked up PP, I was just like, okay. But I think him and his hiatuses, like his breaks, I think they help him more than they hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna come back stronger and readier than ever. So I'm not gonna be out on him. And I think as long as he does not run into a Samus and studies up the Marth matchup, I think Leffen has a very good chance of taking the tournament.
Is Plup going?
Plup is going.
Oh, I want him to win so bad.
I would love for Plup to just take it to Leffen again, but I am a pretty big fan of Leffen, and even if he is headed to CLG and they're a bunch of toxic asshats.
When he beat Leffen, I literally jumped out of my seat. I was so fucking happy. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was just like, yes.
On another note, I am really excited for the Leffen Chillin' Dude money match.
Oh, that's gonna be
stop.
so funny because either like it's gonna be close.
Uh-oh.
Or Chillin's gonna get just crapped on. And Leffen literally, when people ask him about it, he just laughs. He goes, I don't, whatever. So,
at Paragon, he's talking to D1 and Gimmer like in the interview, and Gimmer just goes, "Yeah, what's the set count gonna be for the Chillin' money match?" And Leffen's just like, "Really? You know what I'm gonna say?"
I would just want to point out A Rookie versus Scorpion Master.
Is that happening?
If that happens, I'm gonna be real excited. So
okay.
Walter is a Mario, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that a rumor or is that like?
I saw it
hey,
on Twitter, so I think it's happening, but I don't know if it's happening for sure or not.
Yo, Walt, who are your top three here?
All right, yeah. So my top three, it's gonna be fairly similar to DJ's. I don't want to count Leffen out in that. I think Mango deserves a spot in the top three. I think with the history of Apexes under his belt, PPMD has easily enough leeway to get this happening for him. So those are two out of my three. Third spot for top three is a little bit iffy for me. With the way things are going, I really want to say Hungrybox. I know someone posted the set counts for the top, I guess, 5 or 6 people, including Hungrybox, and he hasn't really had the best record against people considered the gods and all those other people. But he's making really good ground and doing all this stuff. He forced Armada to his Peach, forced Armada to play Fox in matchups where he would normally go to his Young Link, and that stopped working. So I think Hungrybox is making some good waves. I would put him in the top 3 for now. I don't know for sure about that, but a lot of other people that I want to mention that weren't really considered. You have Amsa and Javi confirmed to come to this from over the river, across the pond,
and south of the border.
Yeah, and south of the border.
Yeah.
They're both fantastic. I mean, I don't
Absolutely.
particularly would put them in the top 3 just because I haven't seen much of their tournament history. But it's sure as hell exciting to see them coming to a tournament like that. Obviously, you have Axe, you have people like those 3 coming to this tournament. You have Plup, he just beat Leffen. That was huge. And it's people that can't be counted out. And that's the great thing about a national, is that you can see crazy things happen as soon as you get to that top 16. You're like, wait a second, how did this happen? And that's what's really cool. So I'm really excited to see that happening. Yes. Okay. So that's pretty much all. Just again, another reminder for anyone who wants to, I guess, be more directly involved in the show. I will try to speak to those of you who speak in the chat as often as I can. And really get you guys involved in the discussion with us, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. But just be sure to use hashtag AskNewMeta on Twitter. Whatever form of social media you really use, I'll be sure to check it before the next episodes and during, to see if anyone has any questions they'd like to, I guess, impersonally ask via Twitter. But just be sure to use that hashtag if you guys have any more questions. And if not, then I hate you, and you're wrong.
Wow, good ending.
Wow.
We're going to gain viewers off of that one.
Anyway, holy shit, the Jews did 911.
Yeah,
just totally
don't,
trolled
you don't
me.
say it out loud. You don't say it out loud. Damn
Yeah,
it.
I'm not down with that mood. He totally just freaked my headphones out really bad. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in, and that's really going to be it for episode 2 of the meta. I think we had a fantastic discussion, so it was really awesome. And with that, I think we're just gonna get on out of there. Don't say that shit. With that, we're gonna get on out of there. Again, great bait, mate, to the man who posted that straw poll link. We'll be sure to see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.